Build, everyone's favorite developer conference that kind of sort of related to Windows still, but kind of.
Yeah. It's actually my favorite Microsoft conference. I mean, aside from cost, I guess I'd like to go. They're not really inviting the press, although they will annoyingly have 3 or 4 people on site when, the show opens, like, thanks for telling us. But yeah, I like Build.
Yeah. Session catalog is now online for people who are interested in.
Yeah. Actually, I'll just mention, Laurent just mentioned to me that there's a session, an in-person session for which I assume they'll be broadcasting later, right, over YouTube, for Fluent 2, like Fluent Design System 2, and the new Microsoft Loop app and infrastructure is based on Fluent. And I assume this is maybe related to that they've maybe formalized some changes to this design system, I guess is the word I'm looking for. So WinUI must be based on Fluent, right?
I would hope.
Boy, God, do we need so many different names for things? Anyway, that's my guess.
My guess is that you should check out this message from our sponsor. Today's podcast is brought to you by Fortra's Alert Logic because it offers the most comprehensive managed detection and response coverage for public clouds, software as a service, on-premises, and hybrid environments. To learn more, check out Alert Logic. You can find links in the description. You can click it. You can learn more about Alert Logic.
Excuse me. I'm all choked up.
You're that happy about Fluent 2.0?
Well, it's of interest.
I think the more interesting thing would be how long is it going to take for adoption to...
All right, I'll try not to make this go on for 15 minutes. I think about this stuff a lot, right? And I don't just think about it. I sort of play with it. And what I mean by that is you can do WinUI 3 UIs, if you will, in apps. And like, how do you do that? The easiest way is actually with Maui, but Maui is mobile apps, blah, blah, blah. So I've been looking at the Windows App SDK and like, what does it mean to create an app that has like a header, like the top of the new Notepad, for example, right? Which is a WinUI interface. And I get the most striking thing about it to me, honestly, is how much code it requires. Like, it's a lot of code. I don't mean XAML code, which is how you build the UI. I mean the back end code that is how you interact with the UI. Like, if you want to do something like, I'm going to take over the top of the application window, which means I need to specify the corner button thing there, the title, the icon, a draggable area at the top. Maybe I have a search bar up there, maybe not. Then there's the 3 window buttons, like minimize, restore, and maximize. You have to handle all that stuff manually. It's a lot of code. And to me, this is the opposite of the point of these environments that started way back in the first version of Visual Basic, which was like, just make it as simple as possible. It's just hard. It's hard. And it's, I think so they didn't take 15 minutes, but 5 minutes. So the question you sort of rhetorically asked was something about uptake, like how, when this is the problem. And by the way, the thing I just described is like, I'm starting a new app with the Windows App SDK. Nobody's doing that.
Right. I should have.
That's a best case scenario.
I should have qualified my statement in saying how long for Microsoft to roll this out across their own apps.
Yeah. Right. I mean, the trick is you have an existing code base, whatever it may be, and you want to make it look modern and beautiful on Windows 11. Of course you do. But when it's too hard, you're like, well, whatever. It can just look the same everywhere. It
just works.
The barrier to entry is the problem here. It's not that you can't do it. It's just, is the amount of work it's going to take worth it? And you still have to do, this will soon go away, but for a little bit of time until some versions of Windows 10 finally head out to pasture, you still have to do a little bit of testing there to see what version you're on. And if they're on an older version of Windows 10, this stuff I just described, a lot of it doesn't work. Even something simple like making the title bar a different color.
Yeah.
I believe is not supported on some supported versions of Windows 10. Anyway, this is the type of stuff your company deals with all the time. I'm sure it's a nightmare.
It is. Nightmares.
But if you can
Appropriate
get
way
through
to
the
describe it.
Rubicon there, you can have a pretty app. You know, a lot of
Yeah.
apps are pretty good looking these days. I mean, I just, like the Teams app, where I'm still on the old Teams app. I mean, but it looks like it's a modern kind of look and feel. It feels natural. It blends in nicely with the Windows 11 UI. And then sometimes you run like an old school app and you're like, ugh, like, you know.
Yeah, the Windows 8 styling has really run its course.
That aged so poorly. It looked bad right out of the box, right? I mean, giant full screen stupidity, giant buttons that were designed to be as big as your thumb. It's just terrible. But those things still exist.
Oh, yeah.
Like there's a legacy scanning app, I think, still built into Windows 11 that's came with Vista. It's got that blue kind of command bar thing at the top or whatever. The modern equivalent of that is an app called Windows Scan, which came with Windows 8, and you have to download it from the store. It takes like 10 seconds. It's really small, and it works fine, but it's a total Windows 8 app, So there's your choices. You can have something from 1,000,000 years ago or from something from 500,000 years ago, neither one of which looks modern or good in Windows 11, right? Or 10. This is how I spend my time, Brad. I think about this stuff. It's amazing. I'm still married. Anyway,
I'm sure you guys have great dinner conversations.
Murder suicide is definitely how this ends.
Jeez.
Anyway.
Anyways, you can change your Xbox Elite controller to more colors if you want, although you still cannot change it to any orange that would match the Bengals attire, so I will yet again be not ordering one.
Well, it's based on demand, Brad. You okay?
I know approximately where you live.
Okay.
Ish.
Yeah. Well, just follow the sound of the train.
Just carpet bomb the whole railroad.
Obviously, like a full price Xbox wireless controller is about $69 these days. You know? Sometimes you can get them on sale. The Elite Series 2, which is kind of a mostly elite version of the controller, right? But it has all the, the modern share button and all that stuff, is like $150. I kind of want one of these things, but I have such a rich history with Xbox controllers that I know I will ruin it. Right? I'm like the gorilla in the Samsonite ad jumping up and down on the bag. Like, I don't do a good job with these things. Then again, I do have carpet now for some reason. And I haven't had a carpet under me in, forever. Maybe it would last. I don't know. But I break these things. I just... Not like I'm hurling them at a wall or anything. I mean, I just drop them. I'm just clumsy,
Well, the Elite doesn't exactly have a rich heritage of durability.
Reliability. Yeah, exactly.
Normal use.
That's right. Yeah. How do we make a thumbstick less reliable? Here's an idea. Let's let the user remove it.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, that's the fun part. So when you actually drop these things, they just explode.
I know, it's like
Legos.
a Lego set. It goes. Exactly. Yep.
Actually, the funny thing is on this version of the Elite, which I can't remember if it's second or not, whatever. The thing that actually wore out that I had to replace was the rubber on the thumbsticks.
Yep.
So you can buy replacements online from Amazon for like $3-4 or whatever. They're great.
That's interesting.
But that's what has worn
out.
So
they sell. I mean, you could buy new thumbsticks. They have thumbstick sets and things you can buy. But the thing that wore out for me was I guess you call it like the wing grips, the things.
Oh, yeah, on the first one, yeah, for sure.
Because those would like peel. They were kind of just glued on,
That first gen, yeah, that one for sure. That happened to me. But this is on the second one. It's the thumbstick rubber things wore out. And
yeah, because that's, what else that's where you're doing your, that's what we used to call Nintendo thumb, right?
Season 3 drops today, Call of Duty. Big changes on the Warzone side, so that will be interesting to watch.
When is this happening?
Today, I think.
Oh, boy. I'm going to have to plug this thing in.
Oh, boy.
Do you know anything about the multiplayer map situation, which is going to be minimal and stupid? Yeah. Okay.
I just know that there's a lot of changes to Warzone, which should be good. We'll see. We got to see the patch notes to see if it's good or not. I guess then play it, but
right.
That's that.
I'll have to go pay attention to this. I know what I'm going to do is I'm going to look this thing up and they're going to be like, we have one new multiplayer map. It's like, yay.